happy Friday. I'm meteorologist Justin Gehrts, and we're going to be watching potentially some active weather coming up, especially on Saturday during the afternoon and evening. We do have actually a little bit of shower and storm activity popping up now this afternoon already, mainly in our northern towns. Check out the live radar. It does show that we are seeing a little bit of that popping up again, mainly well north of 70 at this point. We'll zoom in on a few of these little blobs that are beginning to show up. And if there is any lightning with these, it's pretty sporadic at this point, but we could see some of that develop. But you notice these are pretty small, very isolated in nature, and this is going to be the theme as we move throughout the afternoon into the evening. Just these little pop-up showers and storms that roll on through, and they're not going to last in any one spot very long if you happen to get underneath one of them. You see these lifting off toward the north and east, and again, for the time being, these are limited to our far northern towns as they head on through. But just the same, I expect some additional coverage of these as we go throughout the afternoon into the evening. Now, our weather impact alert is focused on Saturday afternoon and evening as we have the potential for some strong to perhaps severe thunderstorms. Looks like the main window of time is roughly 3 to 10 p.m. overall. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be storming in your neighborhood for those entire 7 hours, but that's the window of time that we're watching for some of this activity to potentially ramp up to strong to severe levels. What you can do, just get that 10TV app. Make sure you have those push notifications turned on for those weather alerts to let you know that if your location does have a weather warning, you'll be notified of it. Of course, you can also find the latest information there, as well as if we need to do any live streaming with continuous coverage, we'll be there as well. Here is that severe weather outlook for Saturday. You see this broad area in that level 2 out of 5 risk of severe weather in the yellow, encompasses all of central Ohio and, in fact, just about the entire state. What we're looking at here is primarily some gusty winds from the strongest storms, should they get strong enough. That's the main thing we're watching for. Now, there is enough energy. We could have a couple of hail reports as well. Storms are going to be moving quickly enough that I don't think the flooding risk is significant. Few of us, of course, could pick up a downpour because it is fairly muggy out there for tomorrow as well. Tornado risk is fairly low. I can't rule out one or two brief ones, but I would say by and large, if things do turn severe, it is going to be the gusty winds that we have to contend with. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast, and you'll notice the theme for this afternoon, much like what we saw on live radar just a few minutes ago. Just these itty-bitty little pockets of showers and a couple of thunderstorms lifting off toward the north and east. If you get a quick downpour, it won't last maybe more than 5 minutes maybe, because these things are pretty small. Here's 6 p.m., still seeing some of these spotty areas of activity, and even as we head just a bit past sunset, a little bit of this will continue. Going into the night, though, these lift off toward the north, so shower chances wind down probably by midnight or so for our northern towns. Part of tomorrow will be dry. Here's 8 a.m. Saturday. There you just see some clouds around, but there's no rain. That's the case through the first part of the afternoon, too. We'll pause here at 4 p.m. Ahead of the cold front, some scattered showers and storms begin to pop up, and it looks like that front will be approaching during the evening hours, and that's when the main line comes through, and that has the best chance of producing those strong to severe thunderstorms in some spots. Here's 6 p.m. You'll notice roughly 71 is where a lot of that activity is located. Now, this timing could shift a little bit, but right now it looks like 6, 7, 8 o'clock is probably the most likely time for those strong to severe storms. Now, behind the cold front, there may be some lingering rain and a few rumbles as well. However, our severe risk is quite a bit lower as we go much past sunset, just because a lot of that storm energy is going to be going away. Just the same, any of that lingering rain that is around going into Saturday night, it's out of here well before daybreak on Sunday. So Easter Sunday looks to be a dry day. However, the grass is going to be a little wet for those Easter egg hunts, I'm afraid to say. Into the afternoon and evening on Sunday, still some lingering clouds. Now, even when we have sunshine on Sunday, don't be fooled. It is going to be significantly cooler on Sunday than what we have in store for Saturday. Now, once we get past tomorrow, we don't really have much in the way of rain chances for a while. In fact, high pressure builds in. So you notice scattered showers and storms today, better chance tomorrow, and then our odds fall down to about 0 for Sunday through at least next Thursday, perhaps even going beyond that, depending on when that high pressure system finally relaxes a little bit and we can get another weather system in the area. Now, another thing that we want to talk about is the fact that it's really warm out. Even with some of those clouds around today, those temperatures are going to be warming up quite a bit. 80 is the record high for today. 79 is our forecast. For Saturday, 82 is the record, forecast is 82, so it's going to be warm. And we have the mugginess around too. Those dew points are generally in the 60s across the state, so there is certainly some humidity in the air. Now, something that'll take the edge off a little bit, gusty winds. They'll be gusting up as high as, let's say, 20-25 miles per hour this afternoon, falling back later on in the evening. But then for tomorrow, they pick right back up. Winds gust 25 to 30 miles an hour, perhaps even a little bit higher at times, especially in those thunderstorms. Of course, we have the Aviators home opener for tonight. Could be a few spotty showers and storms as things get underway, but we are going to be seeing things quiet down thereafter with a partly to mostly cloudy sky and temperatures generally in the 70s. All right, we have 82 on the board for tomorrow with that weather impact alert for the PM hours. Easter Sunday, 54 for a high, and it is going to be a little breezy at times, so there'll be a chill to the air for sure, especially compared to that 82 for tomorrow. 55 Monday, 49 is all we can muster up on Tuesday. Then we do rebound later on in the week. So some good news there is that the cool down is not going to last very long, but it is going to be pretty noticeable. Now, while the weather is warm for now, if you want to get out and enjoy things, there are a lot of sports to take in this weekend. First up, as I mentioned, Columbus officially welcomes the UFL today. Their home opener for the Columbus Aviators is tonight at historic Crew Stadium. They'll play the DC Defenders. Now, 10 TV was at Woody Hayes Athletic Center yesterday as the team got a quick workout in. Kickoff is set for 8 o'clock tonight.
I just want to be great. The operations is what I'm about. Last week we didn't showcase that a lot. This week, that's what I'm about. My foot is in it. I want you guys to put your foot in it and just come out and show them what Ohio football is all about.
Now, the Aviators lost their first game last week, falling 23-16 to Orlando. As you heard the coach say, they're looking to change that this time around. Now, if you're up for a bit of a drive to the north, the Guardians fans are getting ready for their team's home opener today as well. Downtown Cleveland is already coming alive for the first game of the season at Progressive Field, with restaurants, bars, and fans alike hyped for the game.
You're absolutely excited.
Very, very excited. You got to be with them through good and bad. It's do or die. You love them, no matter what.
The Guardians play the Cubs tonight. First pitch is at 4:10. And if you don't mind making a quick drive to the west over in Indianapolis, the Final Four weekend is finally here. Russ McQuaid has a look at the top spots fans will be gathering.
See that Ferris wheel down there on American Legion Mall? This weekend, Indianapolis will be riding on top of the world. The Wolverines from Michigan let everyone know they were arriving downtown this afternoon, and their fans will no doubt find their way to their favorite hangout southwest of Ann Arbor, O'Reilly's Irish Bar and Restaurant.
We are the home bar for the Michigan Wolverines and have been for 19 years. It is the calm before the storm. It's been an average week for us. I expect business to be a lot busier Friday after hotel check-ins.
While visitors are starting to arrive, they're finding some storefronts empty. Circle Center Mall abandoned, but a pop-up souvenir gear shop just across the street in what was a restaurant. And it's been years since Scotty's Brewhouse served up its final cheeseburger. But inside, for this weekend anyway, it's been transformed into a vintage Indy Final Four locker room.
This is the first time we've actually brought these vintage logos and designs out of the vault in a Final Four city. And this location was one of a few that we were looking at, but we just loved the space. This obviously was an old restaurant bar, and it just fit perfectly with the amount of square footage.
Nothing says Final Four in Indy like a beer truck pulling up outside of a downtown bar, where this may be the last empty table you're going to find all weekend.
Get here early and be prepared to stand in line?
Hopefully not stand in line too long, but yes, there may be a wait.
One survey I read found that it'll cost the average couple about $6,200 to come to Indianapolis for the games this weekend, and that doesn't include airfare or the ride in from the airport. Over downtown, Russ McQuaid, CBS 4 News.
Now to some news about our environment. The Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, is taking steps to lower limits of microplastics and pharmaceuticals in drinking water. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced the substances will be added to a list of contaminants that are not already regulated under the Safe Drinking Water Act. This is only the first step under what may be a years-long process, but it could unlock funding for research into the dangers they pose. Microplastics do not fully break down, and officials say this new action will help scientists learn more about how they move through and harm the body.
Not all microplastics behave the same. Different materials accumulate in different organs and appear to drive different biological effects. Without that distinction, there is no roadmap for action. We can't treat what we cannot measure.
The Trump administration to crack down on plastic pollution. In 2025, the EPA rolled back limits on some forever chemicals in drinking water that were finalized under the Biden administration. Of course, clean water is especially important for a nearly infinite number of human activities, and that is certainly the case when it comes to brewing beer as well. Beer remains the country's most popular alcoholic drink. More than 6 billion gallons are consumed each year. But from water shortages to rising temperatures, climate change is putting pressure on beer's most essential ingredients. Ben Tracy with Climate Central shows us how brewers and farmers are working to protect the future of America's favorite pour.
This is like a beer lover's paradise in here.
Yeah, a lot of beer in here.
Beer is either stacked up or being packed up at the Deschutes Brewery in Bend, Oregon.
We're in the cellars of the brewery right now.
But inside one of these 6,000-gallon tanks,
it's very much in process.
Something unusual
Still tastes okay?
Oh, yeah.
Is brewing.
Cheers. Cheers.
Deschutes brewer Ben Case offered us a taste.
Oh, yeah, it's nice.
Mm-hmm. The secret ingredient is something called kernza.
So when people come in here and you say, we have a beer brewed with kernza, what do most people say?
What's kernza?
It's a grain with a slightly nutty flavor.
Awesome.
Deschutes teamed up with outdoor clothing brand Patagonia on this new brew.
Thank you.
It's light, it's bright, it's very crisp.
Has a good depth of flavor, too.
Different strokes for different folks, you know.
Kernza's deep roots pull carbon from the atmosphere and require less water, making it a climate-friendly alternative to barley, one of beer's 3 core ingredients, along with hops and water.
So of water, barley, hops, which of those face climate threats?
All of them. In one degree or another, I would say.
Wildfires, drought, and extreme heat are a buzzkill for beer. And all 3 impact hops, the delicate flowers that add flavor.
Pineapple, kind of tropical aroma.
Ryan Christian oversees hops research at Yakima Chief, a grower-owned hop supplier in Washington State.
That'll make some good beer.
Oh, yeah.
75% of the nation's hops are grown in the Pacific Northwest.
So what are all these things?
These are all baby hops.
Baby hops are nurtured in greenhouses. Once planted in fields, they depend on irrigation fed by snowmelt from the Cascade Mountains. But as the climate warms, spring snowpack is rapidly declining. Scientists project it could drop by as much as 75% by the end of the century.
This is now heading into a potential 4th year of consecutive drought. That hasn't happened in the past.
That doesn't seem like a good trajectory.
Well, drought is normal. The frequency is abnormal.
So in the lab, they're racing to develop drought and disease-tolerant hops, trying to keep America's favorite pour on tap.
Is it safe to say the future of beer relies on the future of hops?
Hops are integral to beer, so absolutely.
Cheers!
For Climate Central, I'm Ben Tracy.
Now to an update with the Artemis 2 mission, now out of Earth orbit and on its way toward the moon. The 4 astronauts will spend the day doing a series of checks to make sure the the spacecraft can support future missions to the moon. They're about 90,000 miles from Earth, traveling at 4,700 miles per hour. In a few days, they'll be even farther out in space and farther out than any human has ever gone. Chris Van Cleve is at the Johnson Space Center with more.
Integrity, good engine, good control.
And it's go for the moon. For nearly 6 minutes, Orion's main engine fired with 6,000 pounds of thrust to give the capsule a 900-mile-an-hour boost, sending it and its 4 astronauts on a path around the moon.
Humanity has once again shown what we are capable of.
The translunar injection burn also sets up Orion's return to Earth. Mission Control can make small adjustments to the course to set it up for re-entry.
We all wanted to give a shout out to our families first because we are pretty far from Earth and we have not gotten to say hi to them yet.
Overnight, the Artemis crew spoke to the media from space about the journey so far.
Having just experienced incredible views of planet Earth and seeing the entire planet out the window in one pane, knowing that we're about to have some similar views of the moon in that same way is definitely getting me more excited for it.
We're just getting started. You know, we've worked really hard and we have a lot of mission left ahead of us.
Give me the green light.
Earlier Tuesday, the crew awoke to a fitting song, Green Light by John Legend and Andre 3000.
I'm ready to go right now.
And in order to be ready to go for their mission, getting regular sleep is key. It's about a 4-day trip to the moon, living in a space about the size of 2 minivans.
I don't see fold-down beds, so how's it work?
There's no bunk beds.
We were given special access inside the mock-up Orion capsule astronauts used for training at the Johnson Space Center. Inside, each crew member has a sleeping bag.
They tie it off wherever
They need to, and then you get into it. It's got a space for your head to stick out. It's got actually a little band that you can put over your forehead to kind of hold you down.
Is there any trick to sleeping in zero gravity?
There is, from a standpoint of being able to control the crew member and not have them floating around, which is why we have the sleeping bags.
You don't want to play sleeping bumper cars.
Exactly.
Over the next few days, the astronauts are going to be very busy. They have a host of mission objectives. Remember, this is still a test flight, so a lot of things to validate. That includes pressurizing their spacesuits and, of course, documenting their journey. They may well see parts of the moon no human eyes have ever seen before, so just think about the images they'll be sending home. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News at the Johnson Space Center, Houston.
Pretty remarkable stuff. All right, finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. We'll follow that last story up with an amazing view sent back from the mission already. NASA released the first downlinked image from the Artemis 2 astronauts Friday morning. It's a photo of Earth after completing that TLI burn. A NASA astronaut and Artemis 2 commander Reed Wiseman took this picture of Earth from the Orion spacecraft's window on April 2nd after completing the translunar injection burn. There are 2 auroras up at the top right and at the bottom left, and a zodiacal light on the bottom right. That's visible as the Earth eclipses the sun. Definitely a unique perspective there. And lastly today, check this out. The Weather Channel is reminding viewers of a simpler time with a Retrocast version of their website. Yeah, that takes me back too. Users are transported back in time when they visit weather.com/retro. The page opens with a 4:3 format reminiscent of a tube TV. There's also that same smooth jazzy music and voiceover, bringing that perfect mix of nostalgia. Only information that's updated is the actual weather forecast, which shows users the current weather in their area. They can also use that retro mode in the app as well, using that font in the old school version, playing the same music you hear on the retro site. Yeah, I definitely had that growing up, although to illustrate how long I've been a weather weenie, our cable system had just the straight plain blue with the white text before getting upgraded to that. And that was an exciting time when I was a kid to have the colors on there and whatnot. So definitely fun to see that little retro touch there. And I will admit too, I do own some of the smooth jazz music that played on the local on the 8s back in the day. So you know, it's relaxing. So I will certainly enjoy that from time to time. All right, so to recap what we have coming up here. It's going to be a warm one for this afternoon, highs pushing 80. The record is 80. Some spotty showers and a couple of thunderstorms out there drift on by. Saturday is the better chance of some scattered showers and storms in the afternoon and evening that could turn strong and severe. Looks like gusty winds are going to be the main threat with highs in the lower 80s for tomorrow. Then for Easter Sunday, it'll be a dry day, but much cooler, a little breezy, with highs settling back into the mid-50s. Remember, too, you can always come back to 10 TV, 10 TV Plus, and 10TV.com for all the latest weather updates throughout the weekend as we track that severe weather. Chief Meteorologist Chris Tomer is here starting at 4 o'clock with all the latest weather updates. In the meantime, have a great afternoon and a delightful weekend.